If you want to have a department or a company that runs at peak performance, you have to have great people running it. A and B players only. So the question to ask is, what are you doing, or what could you be doing to make your job the job that employees dream about having? Okay, it's nugget time, and in this nugget, we will talk briefly about how to get top-level talent into your organization or department. So one of the critical keys to having the best company or top department is to have the best people. Duh, I think everyone gets that at a high level. But have you ever really thought about how to attract more top talent if you don't already have a stacked deck? I remember watching a documentary about Bill Gates. He was in his early 20s, and Microsoft was already a large company with hundreds of employees. He was asked how he manages to run such a large company at such a young age with such little experience. And his answer was powerful. He said something to the tune of, there are 4 types of employees, A, B, C, and D, just like your school's grading system. A is the best. Bill said that he realized early on that A and B people were self-motivated and self-managed. They were going to be successful no matter what, and they didn't need someone to micromanage them to get their job done and be successful. Now, the C and D players, however, take a lot of work and management. You have to actively manage and motivate them to get their jobs done, and they don't normally do more than is expected of them. He also said that A and B players hate working with C and D players. If you allow C and D players to be on your team long enough, eventually the A and B players will start to look for other options and leave your organization. If you allow that to go on for long enough, you'll eventually end up with all C and D players and get mediocre results at best while working your ass off to manage all of those C and D players. So first of all, you need to move on from any C and D players and replace them with A and B players. Seems simple. So how do you fill up your team with A and B players? One of the keys is to have the best work environment possible. You have to have a job that the A and B players want. You have to ask yourself, what are these A and B players looking for? What does that mean for you and your company or department? And that could mean a lot of different things. Even something as small as a recognition program. We like star moments at our company, and you can message me about that if you want to know more. But here are a few other examples you may want to consider that relate to the auto and RV retail industries. How about schedule? Now this is a big one, and some won't agree with me on this, but I think that this is a very important topic to consider in the RV and auto industries. It's definitely controversial. I propose that the way we have been doing schedules for the last several decades in our industries is holding us back from getting some of the top talent out there to work in the auto and RV retail spaces. Just the other day, I had a conversation with someone, and they told me that the car business was an 80-hour per week job period. 60 hours was part-time. Now, I respect the heck out of the person that told me this, and he's a very successful person in the car business, but I don't know if that story holds water today. I don't get many people requesting an 80-hour per week job. Usually those people are starting or running their own business. I can tell you being flexible on a work schedule at our company has been a huge benefit that has allowed us to attract top talent that we normally wouldn't have gotten. So what do you do at your dealership? Is it a 6-day bell-to-bell schedule? If so, you may want to look at other options. Now, maybe you can't do remote work for certain positions like a lot of companies are going to now, and that's fine. But the point is to think about the things you could do to make your positions more attractive to the A and B players. Maybe it's going to split shifts and adding a few more people. Maybe it's adding one more person to a department to take administrative or other loads off of current employees so they can do more of what they're good at. Maybe you have a position or two that you can give a really flexible schedule to, where they could work remotely a big chunk of their time. Maybe you need to add a new position to streamline certain processes, like a finance coordinator, to take care of all the needs of the finance managers. What about pay? Are you still doing 100% commission and nothing else? Eat what you kill, sink or swim? I know many stores are moving away from a commission-based sales staff to a larger salary with small bonus structures for things like volume or CSI and finance control. They are also calling these positions product specialists or something similar. Many people today don't want to work on commission, and as crazy as it may sound, they don't like to be referred to as salespeople. Something to consider with each position is the job title. May sound silly, but the banking world has done well by giving many of their employees titles, but not a crazy amount of pay, such as a VP of whatever. And people love that. Something to consider. What about the actual work environment? Now, I know there are many things to consider here. You hear about the Googles and startups that have these crazy cool atmospheres. Like in Lincoln, Nebraska, there's a very successful company named Cuddle. They dominate a market in the sports industry and have grown into a wildly successful company. They have all kinds of fun things that they do at their company, such as great food in the cafeteria or a Nerf gun wall, super cool meeting spaces, and lots of fun company activities. Now for me, I don't try to emulate Google or Cuddle, but it is a constant guiding goal to continue to adapt and create the work environment that attracts and retains all stars to be on our team. We have fun company outings regularly, including employees' families. We have a fun game room for employees, their family, friends, and guests to use at any time. We stock the shelves with all the snacks that everyone loves, and even a massage chair is in one of our rooms. The last one that I'm going to mention is initial training and ongoing training. We do lots of ongoing training of all types at our company. What are you doing to help your staff be better at their jobs, even have better lives in general? Do you have professional trainers come in regularly to help your staff? Do you send them off to conferences or other training? Do you bring in guest speakers to your store? Or do you help them pay for college courses? Most people want this training and support so that they can be better employees and people. A and B players do for sure. What are you doing to help sharpen the saw of the people in your organization? Every business is going to have to look at these things and decide what works best for them. I think you should be constantly considering how you can obtain the A and B players in your industry and what you need to do to make that happen. And here's the tough part. You're probably going to need to do some things differently. And for some of you, that's going to be really hard. You may have been doing some of these things the same way for 10, 20, even 30 years. Just because you've been doing it that way for a long time doesn't mean you should keep doing it that way. I just did a nugget on that. There are many things you can look at and consider to make your work environment the dream job for these A and B players. I would definitely recommend looking at your pay plans, your schedule, your training programs, and your work environment, along with whatever else you might consider. So let's wrap up. The bottom line is that if you want to have a department or a company that runs at peak performance, you have to have great people running it. A and B players only. So the question to ask is, what are you doing or what could you be doing to make your job the job that employees dream about having? So go spend some time thinking about that and have a great week.